So I've been around long enough to see the way that these presidential election cycles, at least in the United States, can really flare people's feelings about different kind of hot button political issues, shall we say. So I've been seeing a lot of stuff kind of in my YouTube feed. That's like my window to the outside world. And I've been seeing a lot of stuff, plus not even just there, but like within my own personal experience and just experiences with people and talking to people. I've been hearing a lot of uh, flaring up of the hot button cultural issues that get really, I think, kind of exploited and played upon by the establishment figures, abortion, and then now it's the gender identity issue. And my last video, I gave my perspective on the topic of abortion. And this time I'm going to give, I've talked about this before, but I'm going to talk about it again. Oh, first I want to share, this is just something because like I care about you. And if you're like me, almost 39 years old and you still get acne, I found something that actually works. Mighty Patch. This is just me sharing this with you. I'm not getting paid by anybody to do this, but I tried this last night and I was like pretty skeptical. I had a couple that were just vulgar, unacceptable. And I woke up and they were like gone almost. I don't even have concealer on right now. I hate the way foundation and concealer feels. I don't like to wear it. I just put on sunscreen usually. So if I have acne that day, it's like, well, sorry guys. But this actually, I mean, it's like, I would say 75% gone. It is this weird stuff called hydrocolloid. I don't know. It worked, whatever it was. So if you struggle with acne, give it a try. And there's different brands of these hydrocolloid patches. Anyway, back to the sticky stuff. So at this point in my life, in my development, I feel okay speaking freely about my perspectives. I kind of feel like we should all just be our truest selves and say what we think respectfully, share our opinions, and don't hold ourselves back anymore. You know, for a long time I put myself in the little box where, okay, I need to behave in a certain way, so the way that I think I need to behave in order to be accepted by sorry, I'm kind of trying to get comfortable here. Put this pillow under my butt. The way that I think I need to behave in order to be liked by people. Well, I think I've kind of transcended that. And so the perspectives that I have don't really fit into the two major camps on these hot button issues, because generally speaking, and people there, you know, there's nuance, there's levels of complexity with people and their perspectives, but I think it's fair to say people do tend to choose one camp or the other. Like, I don't know why we have this like bipolar way of being as a species as far as cultural issues, political issues, things like that. But so again, like the way I mentioned, my perspective on the topic of abortion, how it's complicated. You can go back and watch that if you want to see my full perspectives on that. Don't jump to conclusions on what I think based on what I just said. Okay, everybody calm down. This is kind of what the ultimate gist of what I'm trying to do with these videos right now is everybody needs to calm down. I am an emotional person, but also at the same time, I've learned to temper that. And I mean, I'm sure I make mistakes from time to time, but like, we all need to calm down and we all need to try to be more objective and accepting of other viewpoints, because I see, so I'm very pleased to see that there's a whole movement of people who are rejecting this globalism, this establishment type of this, you know, it's really getting shoved down our throats, this new world order crap. But I'm happy to see that there's a large percentage of people who are rejecting that. But within that group of people that are rejecting it, I'm also seeing the same kind of problem, some of them, the same problematic behaviors that I'm seeing with the what you could call woke neoliberal side. It's sort of interesting. It's sort of like these two sides of the same coin. We're talking about the same kind of basic energy that's continuing to perpetuate, and it's up to us collectively to reach kind of a critical mass as far as moving into a peaceful society, a balanced, peaceful, healthy society, which I think most of us want. It's just disagreements on how to get there. So when it comes to the topic of gender identity, it's actually very important for everybody to calm down on this topic. There are people that I love who are transgender, so I understand. There's real feelings going on here. There's real emotions. There's real lives. And one thing, understanding what the parent of a child who is going through gender identity stuff, don't be harsh and mean, because that's very hard for a parent to go through something like that. And so this is why people are, I absolutely believe in freedom of speech. I mean, in a free society, we have to have that. Even when I don't like the speech, we have to have it in place. So people can say whatever they want. I don't believe in shutting down anybody's speech on it. I'm just simply a teeny tiny little voice out there that a few of you will hear, requesting that everybody calm down on this topic. We need to look at this more objectively. Both quote unquote sides on this gender identity issue are responding way too emotionally about this. We need to calm down so we can look at the facts of this. First, find out what the facts are, because unfortunately, in today's day and age, facts are flexible based on who is presenting the facts and what interests are involved. So we need to calm down so we can look at this situation objectively, so that we can figure out the best way as a society to bring about a resolution on this topic that works for everyone. Now, what I really think is avoiding nuclear war is the biggest issue that we're dealing with. Not blowing the planet up is the biggest issue. It seems to me like these globalist people, these people who are trying to implement this new world order, are very interested in destabilizing the average populations through different means, one of them being war. And war is profitable for them. So that's really what I see. And that's when it comes to, now I am not a quote unquote Trump supporter. However, this is why I'm leaning more towards voting for Trump, because I don't think that the people, so Dick Cheney is backing Kamala Harris. Do you guys remember 9/11? All of you, Democrat, back then when the 9/11 war was happening, do we remember Dick Cheney? Remember, guys? Well, he's supporting Kamala Harris. Who's a bigger warmonger on this planet than Dick Cheney? I can't think of one. So I believe personally that is a direction towards more war. I mean, I'm like itchy. During Trump's 4 years, I saw personally a de-escalation of conflicts involving the U.S. and other countries. What I've seen during these last 4 years with the Biden administration is just an arm of the globalists at this point, including Kamala Harris. She's still in she's a part of that administration that has brought all of this conflict into play. And it is a little bit of a frightening situation. I think optimistically on it, but it's concerning to me. So I kind of went on a little bit of a tangent there, but ultimately that's why I support Trump at this point, is because I don't want us to blow the world up. I want us to reduce the amount of conflict out there. I don't believe in killing. I mean, it's just the way I see it. I'm a vegetarian. I don't even want to eat animals. So that part's what's frightening to me. When it comes to the topic of gender identity, I will talk about this because I do see a lot of people's tempers getting really flared. Oh, Megyn Kelly, calm down. Let's be objective about this, okay? So here's what I think. And I wish I could remember this doctor's name, but somebody wrote a book and she was really balanced, and she was getting heat from the liberal and the conservative side because she wasn't willing to fit into one of these other camps neatly. It's too complicated of an issue. There is levels of complication to this. And caring about the feelings of people who are going through these gender identity issues, and caring about the feelings of the families of those people is important. If you want to be a decent human being, that part is important. So bring that compassion in, soften it, okay? We cannot fight our way through this. This extremism is what causes all these big conflicts everywhere. We have to try to compromise. I'm seeing a lack of compromise with people. We need to work on compromise. So I do feel that the rise in people being transgender there's different aspects to it. Part of it is an increase in these, so plastic-based chemicals, I think they call them phthalates. They're in beauty products, they're in clothes, they're in just about everything. We know that there's, a lot of different chemicals that leak into the water systems. The food supply is laden with, I saw this NBC story just yesterday that most people have microplastics in their brain. These do affect our hormonal systems. We know that for a fact. And so I do think that there's a biological aspect for a portion of these people who are going through their gender identity stuff, something that they can't actually help. So when you look at it in those terms, how could you not feel compassion for what that person is going through and soften your perspective on that? So I think that I don't think that now this is where the liberals are going to get mad at me, and I'm sorry. I'm trying to compromise and meet in the middle and see this in a balanced way. So there's a percentage of people who are going through gender identity stuff that I think has more to do with something else going on. Still, the compassion has to be there. We have to keep that compassion in place when we're having this conversation. And so I'm seeing a lot of people not doing that. And it's just not going to work. It's not going to get anywhere. What is going to come out of that? There's not going to be any compromise there. So regardless, the compassion. So I think that there is a trend aspect to it. And I can understand where maybe toning down. Now, the love and acceptance part is non-negotiable for me, but also at the same time, we can say, so when it comes to young people who are feeling like they're having questions about their gender, there are ways where we can approach this and say, okay, well, we need to look at this and make sure that this isn't something else going on. And if everybody can calm down and try to come together, we can, I think, there will be more resources, more adequate resources to figure out, okay, is this something that we're dealing with a biological hormonal issue related to these phthalates and these different endocrine disrupting chemicals, or is this more of kind of a little bit of an identity phase that we need to just kind of support and wait out and help them with? So I see it in that way, that it's not just a simple, accept everyone and let's all do gender transition surgeries for everybody who feels this way, or nobody gets gender transition surgery because it's not real and it's all just made up. It's really not that simple, you guys. It's really not. I scared my dogs because I got really animated there for a moment. Sorry, buddies. I do think that there is a portion of people out there where going through gender transition surgery is the best option for them, because, and here's the thing, people get so mad about the fertility part. Well, you can save their genetic material before they go through that process. That's an option. Sperm, egg, you can freeze those things. So here's why I think a portion of those, not all of the people who are having gender identity issues, I don't think that that's the right choice for all of them, but a portion of those people, probably a smaller portion, had some real biological change due to these endocrine disrupting chemicals. And currently, because nobody's really looking at this, we haven't found a way to reverse that, because nobody's really taking a objective. I mean, it's not fair to say nobody, but most people are not looking at this. So because currently we don't have a quote unquote treatment for that, the psychology, what's the happiness level for that person who's going through it? If it is a real actual biological endocrine disrupted situation for that individual, and they're like, this is, dude, I'm not in the right body, that's not their fault. And we need to think about what is going to help them live the happiest life possible. I don't think that that's outrageous to want to look at it in those terms. So because we don't have, and then also it brings in an ethical question. Let's say for that portion of people who had some sort of biological change due to the endocrine disrupting chemicals, and that's why they have gender dysphoria. For those people, let's say we did have a treatment where we could reverse that and they would feel like they're in the right body. Then it becomes an ethical question. That is up to the individual because it is their choice. If they're happy living life as a girl, but they were born in a boy's body, again, biologically, on a biological level, not some identity crisis type of a situation, then it would be unethical to force that individual to take this treatment to get them, it would be their choice is what I'm saying here. So it's not, life is complicated. It's not black and white. It's just not how things work. So there's that aspect of it. So this is why I think everybody needs to calm down so that we can find positive solutions for this. Because right now, the way I see it is it's just two sides shouting at each other and not even trying to compromise. And that's just not going to get us anywhere. And I'll hand it to the people who are on typically the conservative side. It is true that not everybody who feels that they need to transition, not everybody, maybe even most, I don't know. See, that's the thing is we need to look at it. That's maybe not the right choice because sometimes what I have seen just through observation, is for some of these kids, teenagers, it's just a phase and you kind of just say, okay, well, we're going to wait and see what happens. And then they decide, nope, that's not something that I want to do. So do you see how I'm saying that there's layers of complication and we need to calm down? We need to calm down so that we can deal with this adequately. And hopefully we don't get blown up by the globalists. Hopefully what somewhat stable society left in the world doesn't get completely destabilized by these globalist elites. So I hope that was clear and concise. I did my best to present it in that way. And I hope that you will consider what I've said. And I hope that we can all, as a species, learn to come together, learn to compromise. If you like this, please subscribe, please share, and have an amazing day.